Introducing noise engineering's biggest Eurorack module yet, the Xer Mixa. Xer Mixa is a 32 HP all-analog digitally controlled mixing powerhouse. 8 stereo-paired inputs, 2 auxiliary loops, and a stereo-paired output, with tactile controls and a 100% analog signal path with low noise and crosstalk, pristine sound quality, and ultra-high headroom. And did we say screen? Yes, this is noise engineering's first screen ever on a module, and it's worth every pixel. The digital control interface harnesses the true power of hybrid design, allowing for state save and recall, per-channel pan law, pre- and post-syn settings, multi-channel editing, and easy configuration for MIDI. And with the Expando Expandi Expander, did I say that right? Expando, Expandi, Expander. Okay, cool. Connect 1 or 2 of the EE modules for up to 16 configurable CV inputs. Modulate panning, volume, muting, and more across various inputs or buses, enabling fluid and dynamic automation. Before we mix things up, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. A quick click right there does the trick. We'll be putting out a lot more videos of Xer Mixa and the Expander, and we don't want you to miss a beat. Let's go over the panel and controls, starting with these stereo channels. Each channel has a stereo input, with the left normaling to the right for mono signals. The LEDs above each channel show the level of the incoming signal. The channel select button is used to edit its configuration, such as adjusting syn levels for aux A and B, changing pan on the screen, and monitoring modulation and mute status. The LED above it changes based on whether the channel is muted, unmuted, or selected for screen controls. When editing with an encoder, tapping the encoder resets the setting. For instance, pressing the encoder on pan resets the pan to center panning for whichever channel is selected. Send and pan settings can be adjusted for multiple channels simultaneously. Just hold down a channel button, tap the others you want to edit, and use the encoder to make your adjustments. The slider adjusts the volume, and the slider LED brightness changes with volume levels too. Each input has a clickless mute switch. Now that feels good. Use the A and B stereo auxiliary outputs to go to your reverb, delay, or wherever you send the signal. Return them through the A and B stereo inputs, which also have clickless mutes and adjustable volume controls through the screen. You can also use A and B returns as 2 more stereo pairs of inputs. We won't judge. The main mix out is at the top right. The TRS MIDI input and output jacks are useful for sending and receiving signals from your DAW or other external gear. The LED indicates activity. All parameters can be MIDI controlled, and the panel controls send MIDI CCs. We even include a cable for you. The screen section includes 2 encoders to scroll and edit, plus buttons to select, configure, and go back in the menus. The home screen shows level controls for aux outputs A, B, and the main mix. On this screen, you can also use the 3 encoders to quickly adjust the levels of the A, B, and main outputs. Before we dig deeper into the screen, let's run through a patch with all this new knowledge. Okay, let's jump into the screen and go over some of the features that set the Xer Mixa apart from the rest. Start by clicking Config to open the Global Configurations menu. Select Scene by tapping Select or by pressing down on either of the Scroll or Edit encoders. Here you can save all the changes you've made, load others already saved, or reset to the defaults. If you don't feel like saving and loading different scenes, the module automatically saves all your changes, so it'll power up exactly how it was when you powered down. Tap Back to go back to the menu. Scroll down and select Audio. In addition to adjusting output levels, we also include the option to set the level that reads as 0 dB on the output meters. You can adjust from 10 to an astounding 20 peak-to-peak voltage. Turning leveling above 0 activates an all-analog leveling amplifier, great for adding some punch to your mix. You can also configure the Q system in the audio menu. Turning Q on sends your Q submix to output B. And with MIDI, MIDI in selects the MIDI channel that Xer Mixa responds to, and MIDI out selects the channel that it outputs to. When turning on the MIDI through, the mixer no longer outputs its own generated MIDI, but passes MIDI from the in to the out jack. In the visual menu, you can adjust screen and LED brightness and set the screen's off time after inactivity, with 0 keeping it on at all times. If you want to orient your mixer so the jacks will be on bottom, change orientation to down. This will rearrange the interface as well as the screen. You can turn off or on the meters, and with Rainbow, you can liven up the channel's LEDs by rotating through fancy colors, or freeze them so each channel has a different LED color. This can help you better identify channels under low light conditions. Default sets all the visuals back to their original settings. So we've been neglecting this little 4 HP module next to Xer Mixa until now. Expando Expandi has 8 inputs that takes any CV signal and uses it to automate up to 32 destinations on the mixer, which means you can route one signal to lots of places. The expander comes with a power cable and a special cable to connect directly to the back of the mixer. You can connect up to 2 expanders at once. Select Config and scroll to Expander. Select Scan and the mixer will search for any connected expanders and display them on the screen. Scroll down to your newly discovered expander, which lights up the LED above the back button and flashes the LED on the expander module. Select the expander, then Show to get a visual of the signal being received from each input on the expander. Now that we have some CV, let's put it to good use. Select New, which adds a new modulation route. Then select that new route, which brings up a detailed menu for automating other parameters. Select which jack input on the expander you are configuring. Then select which channel in the mixer that jack is affecting. Keep in mind, input 1 doesn't always have to correlate with the mixer's channel 1. Decide what the CV will be used for. You can send CV to volume, mutes, pan, aux levels, and more. With the action setting, CV signals can be added to the mixer controls, attenuated by them, or completely take over the full range. Amount is an attenuverter, and you can offset the CV, changing its 0 point. Selecting Clear Mod removes this routing altogether and brings you back to the expander menu. From here, you can make a new route. With up to 32 destinations available, you can send one CV to multiple destinations, or send multiple CVs to just one destination. The final configuration screen works with the channels themselves. Click a channel's select button and click Config below the screen. From here, you can set whether the aux A and B levels are pre or post fader, decide whether the channel is sent to the main output or not, and determine pan law settings. Press the Config button again to return to the Channel Select screen. Then press the Channel Select button one more time to return to the home screen. Whether you have a massive studio rig or a compact performance system, Xer Mixa is the perfect choice for an expressive mixer. Xer Mixa and Expando Expandi are available individually or together as a discounted bundle. Visit noiseengineering.us or your favorite retailer and mix it up today.